guys, welcome to ANS Academy. So in this video, let us talk about the number theory question that came in this year's ISI paper, the BSTAT paper. So I'll be talking about all this question one by one. I'll take the questions, but let's just start with this one. So the question was something like this. So I have it open here. So this is the question you can see on the screen, right? So consider a right angle triangle with integer valued sides a less than b less than c, where this a, b, c are pairwise co-prime, and let d equals to c minus b. Suppose d divides a, then prove that d is less than equals to 2. And secondly, you have to find all such triangles, that is all possible triplets ABC with perimeter less than 100. So okay, so we need to do this. Now the thing is, the first part, the proof that d is less than equals to 2, this essentially means that we gotta prove that we have something like a less than b less than c, and we have d equals to c minus b. Now since d equals to c minus b and this divides a, so there are a lot of ways we can actually find out that d can be less than equals to 2. That is, let's see the equation a square plus b square equals to c square. So this is the equation of a right angle triangle, right? And we can know that c is the hypotenuse because it's the greatest side there. So obviously taking b square to the right hand side and then factorizing, you get a square equals to c minus b, which is d into c plus b, right? Now you know that d divides a. So this essentially means that we must have a by d equals to c plus b divides a. Now obviously a also divides c plus b. So this means that d divides c plus b. This is because since a by d is an integer, because d divides a, so this must also be an integer, right? And for this to be an integer, we must have a divide c plus b, but we already know that d divides a, so obviously d must also divide c plus b, but d is c minus b, right? So d must divide the difference of both of this. So dividing the difference and the sum, we get that d divides either 2c or 2b, right? So if d divides c, it must also divide b, right? D cannot divide c because d is equals to c minus b, neither can it divide b, like that. So obviously from this entire thing we only get d divides 2, and since d divides 2, we can obviously say d is less than equals to 2. And when d is less than equals to 2, the second part becomes a bit easy. Not really, but it becomes a matter of observation and stuff. So there could be a lot of pairs because they have asked for all the pairs which have, let's say, which have perimeter with less than 100. Okay, so all the possible triplets A, B, C with perimeter less than 100. Now here's the catch. We have d less than equals to 2. That means that we can actually write d is less than equals to 2. This should imply c minus b is less than equals to 2, or we can say c is less than equals to b plus 2. So basically we can have the pairs of the form a, b, b plus 2 and a, b, b plus 1. This kind of pairs we can only have, right? Okay, so that nearly suffices it. Now what are the pairs? So at least in this video it should be a bit tiresome to actually work this out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use some basic knowledge and find out the pairs. So let's try here. We want to try out and find all the pairs, right? So for all the pairs between 100 and, so this is my loop, right? Now the one condition is we cannot have I plus j plus 2. If it is greater than 100, we want the computer to print us the value I and the value j plus 1, right? And similarly, if it so happens that the value is j plus 2, we want it to print the same, just that the condition should be for j plus 2, right? So let's see if there are any pairs that satisfy our needs. Okay, there we go. So we have a few pairs. A few of them are like overlapping, but we need to mention the condition that we must have. So to find out the condition that we must have, see here we had that A is less than B is less than C, right? So B must be greater than A. So to filter out that condition, we cannot loop J from 1, so we can instead do it from A plus 1. So if I is our A, then J starts from A plus 1 always, and then the computer checks. And yeah, we have these pairs. So 3, 4, 5, 5, 12 and 13, 6, 8, 10 won't count just because they are not pairwise co-prime. 7, 24 and 25 should count. 8, 15, 17, 9, 40 and 41, 10, 24 and 26 should not count, and 12, 35 and 37. So there could be 6 pairs obviously. 2 of them goes out, so there are 6 pairs in total, and this can easily be found out just by using, on paper you can use the same technique, that is a square plus b square equals to b plus 1 whole square. This should give you a square equals to 2b plus 1, and obviously by using that we can all obviously find out that a is odd and then check out the conditions, right? So this was a pretty easy thing to do, but I'm not sure most of the people must have done it. So many people might have struggled here, but the ones who are actually determined to be selected would have done this problem. Okay, the problem 8 was kind of a programming problem, I would say. I've seen this problem a lot of times on a lot of websites. So it was just in paper this year. So its answer is something around 20 into 32 into 20C5, and this is quite easy because you have 2 selections from 5 of the things, and then you just need to figure out 20C5 ways of doing that. So there are explanations to that, so we'll cover that in another video. And for the rest of the paper, all I can say is that number 1, number 2 and number 6 were easy, kind of cakewalks. Number 6 really was a cakewalk. Number 1 was somewhat constructive and was a faulty question as well. So you want me to construct a polynomial such that f of I plus omega equals to 0, I'll just give you fx equals to 0 as the answer, right? Because the 0 polynomial satisfies it, and I have not seen any point in this question where it doesn't mention that 0 is not an ignore the trivial solution of x equals to 0, or ignore the 0 polynomial. I haven't seen that point here, so that's useless. Second question was nice enough. Using the concept of double root, you can just find out the answer is minus 2.5 whole to the power 4. Third one was a bit tricky, so this one was a bit tricky and dubious as well. So anyways, this was a good question. Fourth one was also a very nice question. So you do not really need very high level ideas to solve this kind of question. You can just apply your basic limits and L'Hopital concepts to solve this kind of questions always. They do not expect you to know Cauchy sequences and theorems on real numbers, right? So you can obviously find out that we can express a limit as a product of 2 limits when both of the limits exist individually. And here you can prove that the limit log n whole to the power t divided by n, if you define another limit, like if you define a limit like this, so if you define a limit like this, log n whole to the power t divided by n, so this limit you can always see that this limit goes to 0 for any real number t, and you can prove that. So this actually paves the way for the entire problem. Okay, so this has something to do with it. So that's the entire thing right there, and there are other ways to solve this, obviously beautiful ways to solve this. So number 5 was a very simple application of Jensen's inequality, but Jensen's inequality is not so simple, so that's why it cannot be said as a very simple problem, but still it's a doable one for the ones who are very much capable of doing this kind of inequality problems using calculus. And I don't think there is any much left to say about this. So all in all, I think out of the 8 questions, it was a very, not an easy paper, but a moderate paper, much much harder than the paper of 2018 at least, where you had like very doable and easy questions, all of them almost, except one or two. So for UGB, I really think that the cutoff should be somewhere around 35 to 38 or 40. I do not think it should touch 40, so 35 to 38 is fine. And for UGA, for every year, it's always around 70 to 73. Never got above 73, so maybe this year 73 to 75 or something like that, because we know that there is no interview. So I don't think it should go higher than that. So even if it does, because it wasn't such an easy paper, even if it does, it will be somewhere around 78 to 79 only. So that much only should do. It was not the easiest paper, though there were two questions copied from the previous year paper, but still it's not an easy paper. Okay, so that actually does it. Okay, so the cutoff should range around 35 into 3 plus 78, let's say 105 in this, so somewhere around 180 to 190 out of 360 for BStat students. And for the BMath students, this should be 2 into UGA, that is, let's say, even if it is on the median of 75, it should be 150 plus UGB is 9 times, so 9 times of 35 is 315. So all in all, we can say somewhere around 450 approximately, not 465. Let's just round it down. So 450 could be an obvious cutoff for BMath. So anyhow, let me know how you give the paper and what you think of the cutoffs and how do you think of the problems. Okay, so thank you for watching and please do subscribe. This is the new channel, as you all know. So let's see.